The Urban Institute was established in 1968 to evaluate the war on poverty. Those were programs designed to address social and economic ills and the unrest boiling over in the nation's big cities. We've since broadened our agenda to study challenges facing rural as well as urban communities, suburbs as well as cities. Today, we explore taxation, healthcare, neighborhoods, retirement, unemployment, poverty, the social safety net, criminal justice, and much more. We're examining how to make wise investments in the nation's crumbling infrastructure and how to help states and localities cope with the mounting fiscal pressures they face. At the same time, we look ahead to identify emerging problems. At the Urban Institute, we are seeking to expand our capacity to serve the indispensable role of independent analyst and advisor, helping those charged with addressing our nation's great challenges to make better choices. To put it bluntly, we believe that the Urban Institute can improve the quality of discourse and decision-making about the really big stuff, solving problems like the fate of low-skilled workers in a knowledge economy, rebalancing federal and state budgets, reforming entitlement programs like Medicare and Social Security, repairing a social safety net that's been tattered by the Great Recession, narrowing the growing gap between the rich and the poor, and restoring the opportunity for advancement that was the American dream. But to have this greater impact, we need to increase the Urban Institute's capacity to not only reach policymakers themselves, but to reach those that policymakers listen to: the press, issue advocates, the business community, and even the public itself. We need to deepen our reach to state and local governments who have the ability to experiment and learn what works. We need to present rigorous academic research in creative ways, such as infographics and video, and make it accessible to broader and less technical audiences that we can reach through both new social media channels and more traditional communication strategies. The Urban Institute's impact stems from a unique combination of rigor in the academic work and practical knowledge about how policies actually work on the ground. Our scholars develop and apply cutting-edge research methods that satisfy academic peer review standards and win publication in the most selective journals. But at the same time, our scholars work hand in hand with government agencies to track and evaluate programs so they can convey research findings to program administrators and legislatures in practical operational terms. The Urban Institute relies on three key strategies. First, we're a leader in building innovative research tools, such as microsimulation models that can forecast who will be the winners and losers from changes in policy. Second, Institute researchers break open silos with the ability to apply to any one problem the expertise of economists and demographers, social scientists and urban planners, statisticians, and lawyers. Finally, the Urban Institute strives to reach diverse audiences such as reporters and bloggers, business leaders and policy advocates, academics, and the general public. We use the web, social media, and in-person convenings, both large and small, to reach the people who can use our research to wisely make important decisions that affect Americans' lives. We measure success first and foremost by whether our work helped to shape the debate or was used by policymakers to make decisions. So, for an example, some of our latest research shows that many poor mothers suffer from depression, which seriously threatens their children's healthy development and increases public costs in the long run. Now, federal officials have asked for our help to find ways that existing programs like food stamps, Medicaid, and child support can ensure that these moms get treatment. To us, that's a win. We also monitor our reach to important audiences. We count how often our work and our experts appear in major media outlets, how often policymakers call us up to ask for advice, how often our researchers testify as expert witnesses before Congress, and we track our publications in selective academic journals. The Urban Institute's scope is broader than our name implies. We tackle tax policy, education, work and earnings, savings and retirement, housing markets, and healthcare issues that matter to all Americans, regardless of where they live. In education, the Institute applied statistical methods to huge state databases, measuring the effectiveness of schools, teachers, and principals. This work shows that teacher quality is the single most important determinant of student success, and that neither years of experience nor advanced degrees necessarily improves teacher quality. These controversial findings are prominently featured in debates about the role that seniority should play in teacher pay and layoffs. They also have influenced the administration's new Race to the Top initiative. In tax policy, two high-profile bipartisan debt reduction commissions, known as Bowles-Simpson and Domenici-Rivlin, relied on researchers in our Tax Policy Center to analyze how the proposals under consideration would affect Americans at every income level. In fact, our Tax Policy Center does quick analysis of all the major tax policy proposals offered by national figures, helping everyone from CNN and the New York Times to Fox News and local newspapers, from scholars to bloggers and policy advocates, and from congressional staffers to ordinary citizens, helping them all to assess competing tax proposals. In election years, these nonpartisan analyses help voters make sense of the candidates' tax proposals. In retirement policy, no other organization can rival our capacity to make projections and show how different policies affect workers and retirees. Over many years, the Institute has developed models to forecast how the coming wave of baby boomer retirements will ripple across the economy and how boomers will fare in old age. This research reveals that certain low-income boomers will face serious hardship in retirement. As a result, some of the major Social Security reform proposals now under consideration include a minimum Social Security benefit that would protect low-income elderly from living their final years in harsh poverty. And we've been asked to help improve these proposals so that they really work. The Urban Institute has consistently needed venture capital to invest in new ideas and new areas of research. Seed capital allows us to build new tools and data sources, to better anticipate emerging challenges, to investigate neglected problems, and test creative policy ideas. This kind of forward-looking work, which can help prepare the country for tomorrow's challenges, requires flexible financial support that's not tied to existing programs or projects. When the Urban Institute has had this kind of entrepreneurial resources, the payoffs have been great. In the 1990s, for example, our researchers were among the first to recognize that huge numbers of ex-offenders would soon be leaving prisons and jails, and that the communities where they would return were woefully unprepared. We made a major commitment to knowledge building. This forward thinking contributed to the passage of new federal legislation and funding for reentry programs that have since been shown to reduce recidivism. We would invest additional resources in building capacity, both to research the problems of the future and to ensure we reach a broader audience. The Urban Institute is known for rigorous and reliable information. But too often, when decisions are made by Congress or government agencies, the results of serious academic research is not at hand. Those teachable moments when a policymaker is looking for evidence and analysis to help them make a decision, or when events have focused the public's attention on an issue, rarely match the date when a study is completed or a report is released. With additional resources, the Urban Institute could more effectively seize these moments. We would ramp up our use of new technologies to deliver relevant findings from our deep research archive when policymakers, media, and the public are most interested in learning more. The Urban Institute could do more to anticipate emerging opportunities as well as challenges and help prepare policymakers and the public for the issues that will demand their attention in the coming years. Too often, the pressing controversies of the moment lead both governments and foundations to neglect what's over the horizon.